Hello everyone, this is Archana here again, and let me now show you how to set up a validation rule in Salesforce. Okay, first let's understand what is a validation rule. As the name says, it validates the data that is entered in a field by setting up a rule for that field. For example, in accounts we have a field called as account number, and the requirement is such that the user should enter a maximum of 5 digits in that, or maybe any revenue fields where the revenue should not exceed 1 million, or in addresses where the state has to be a 2-letter abbreviation, or for zip code where it has to be in some specific format like XXX-XX, something like that. So these sort of requirements demand some restrictions while entering the data. So these can be accomplished using validation rules. So now let me show you how do we set up this validation rule in Salesforce. Before we actually create a validation rule, let's see where we are gonna create it. Let's choose opportunities here. So go to opportunities tab. Here I have got 4 records for opportunities. Click on opportunity record. Now let's see this record, Manhattan Mobiles. Here there are many fields for opportunities, and let's select this field, amount, and here the value is $11,000. And now we get a requirement saying that this amount should not exceed $50,000, meaning the user cannot enter a value greater than 50,000. So how do we do this? We do this with the help of a validation rule. So now we have to define a validation rule on this object opportunities for this field. For this, go to setup. Under setup, customize, select the object wherein you want to create a validation rule. Here we are going to create this validation rule in opportunities. So click on opportunities. Under opportunities, you can see validation rules. So go to validation rules. Click on new. And here we need to give the various values for validation rule. Let's give a rule name. And as we are going to create it on amount, let's put it as validation on amount. And what is our restriction? That the amount should not be greater than 50,000. So our condition is amount greater than 50,000. So if amount is greater than 50,000, then the system should not let me save the record. Instead, it should throw an error message. So in the error message, let me give an error message like amount cannot exceed 50,000. And this is asking me for the location of the error message, whether the error message has to be displayed at the top of the page or near to the field. Let me give it at the top of the page. So we are now done. We have to give a rule name and we have to say what the rule is. Here it is amount greater than 50,000, and in case the user enters an amount greater than 50,000, then an error message will be displayed saying that amount cannot exceed 50,000 and the user will not be allowed to save the record. Let's see how it behaves. Now I am saving it. So the validation rule is done, and it is briefing me about the details. The rule name is validation on amount, and the condition is amount greater than 50,000, and the error message is amount cannot exceed 50,000. Error location is top of the page. So again go to opportunities, select a record or create a new record. Maybe I can just give test opportunity. Okay, I already have. I'll test opportunity 1, and these are all mandatory fields, so let me give some value for that. And our test field is amount, so let me now enter a value 51,000 and let me save this. Error, invalid data. Review all error messages below to correct your data. And what is the error message? Amount cannot exceed 50,000, and I am not allowed to save my record here. Now let me give 50,000 and I'll save it. Yes, now the record is saved. It is allowing me to save the data. So this is the basic usage of validation rule. We can set up a rule and we can validate the data that is entered by the user on a particular field based on the requirements that we get. We can accomplish this with the use of validation rules.